Hello and welcome, Adam Thomas from Balancing Touch Reflexology. So good to see you and thanks for joining me today. Today I want to share with you my experience with barefoot shoes or natural footwear. So first of all, what is barefoot shoes or natural footwear? I tend to like to call them natural footwear because barefoot shoes for some reason doesn't make sense to me. So I'll call them natural footwear for the rest of this video. Let's see if I do. But natural footwear tend to be more simple shoes, right? They don't have all this material and cushioning or support in them. They tend to be like really simple, a sole with some fabric around to protect your feet, right? Whereas I'll call them normal shoes, everyday sort of shoes. You're hiking and you're running and all those sort of they tend to be brand name shoes. Those are called sort of like, I don't know, normal shoes or everyday use shoes. And there's a lot of differences between the two shoes. They don't look a lot different, but they function a lot different, right? So for example, if you think of normal shoes, there's some major difference. They're not as flexible, okay? So I'll just show you. I have a pair of shoes that I really like. These are normal shoes, brand name. And these are actually not as bad as a lot of other shoes that I've found. And I'll show you here is more of natural footwear. So one of the first things that you can notice is the shape of them, right? So on this shoe here, you can see that the toe box goes to a point, okay? And whereas this does not. There's quite a bit of a difference between them, right? You can see that? So when I'm wearing this shoe, my toes get a little bit squished, right, when I'm wearing it. Whereas this allows for more movement, okay? Another thing that you might notice right away is the heel, okay? The heel to the tip. As you can see, it's thicker here, and it goes to thinner here. Whereas this, there's none of that. So in this shoe, which isn't that bad actually, a lot of shoes have a lot more heel, it's kind of like you're walking around on ramps all day, right? Where this is all raised up and comes to a point there. So you're actually leaning kind of forward and you have to adjust yourself to walk differently in this shoe versus this shoe, right? Something else that's different is I can roll this one right up, right? So it has a lot of movement to it, right? This way as well. See that? Whereas, let's see, this one here, okay, I can move just the tip. And sideways, let's see, yeah, I can move it a bit, but there's a lot more resistance in it. So that's kind of like an overview of the differences between a natural shoe versus a normal shoe, right? I wanted to talk a little bit more about where I came into contact with these shoes because they're absolutely amazing, and I don't think I can go back to wearing normal shoes. So let's go back to about almost 20 years ago now when I was in Japan, and we were doing a little bit of sightseeing, and we went to a place called Kyoto, which is a lot of it's a big tourist place, so they have a lot of the traditional stuff that they keep it there, as far as like people are still walking around in traditional like kimonos. We got off on the train and then we walked in to sort of this town part, and there was a rickshaw driver, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And right away I had to look down and I saw the shoes he was wearing, and I was just like, oh, okay, those are the coolest shoes I've ever seen. And so, if you don't know what a rickshaw driver is, it's sort of like an old school taxi where they kind of have a little seat. It's kind of like a wheelbarrow type thing, and then they run you around, right? But I just couldn't forget about these shoes. And I asked my wife, like, what are those shoes? Those look so cool. And they look like, kind of like, in my Western mind, they look like ninja shoes, right? And so we did the trip and it was really nice, but when we got back to her hometown, I'm just like, can you buy those shoes? Like, I was just obsessed about these shoes. And she's like, yeah, you can get them pretty much at any type of like workwear store or any shop that, you know, the workers go to. I'm like, well, really? And then I started to notice that lots of the, you know, construction workers, I noticed there was a house being built close to her, and the carpenter people were wearing these shoes as well. And which was really cool because they were up, you know, working higher up, and they were able to kind of hold themselves onto, you know, the kind of beams, right, in these shoes. So I guess that they're just such a practical shoe. And then I've also found out that my wife's brother, he works in the forest industry. He also has these shoes and wears them for work, right? He climbs up trees and cuts branches off, you know, up mountains and stuff like that. And they also come with steel toes and a bunch of other stuff. But of course I had to buy them. And they weren't actually that much. And this is what they look like. Right? So as you can see, they're pretty much like, if you know what I mean, like they look like ninja shoes. Right? So these are called jikatabi. And they have a split toe. So the big toe goes here, and then the rest of the toes come along here. And then you put this on, you know, you put your foot in, and then there's no shoelaces or anything, but there's these little strings here, and they have little kind of holes in it, and then they slide in like so, okay? And then you fasten them up and you're good to go, right? So these, I bought them and I tried them on. I'm like, wow, these are so comfortable, right? They just fit so snug once you get them all set up. It's sort of like wearing socks with a sole, right? That doesn't come off. And as you can see, I wore these quite a bit. You can see I use them for, looks like painting, and so I did wear them around here for doing construction and stuff. But I was just like, oh, these are so comfortable. I need to find a pair of shoes like this that, you know, are maybe more normal, because when I'm wearing these around, they're kind of cool, but they're hard. They're kind of a big deal to get in and out of, right? You can see that I have to take off all these things to you know, get in and out of them. So if I want to just run outside, put on my jikatabi and bring the garbage out, it actually turns into a big production rather than, you know, just going out and doing a simple job. Plus, they look kind of unique, right? So, you know, when I wear them around, they definitely attract attention. Hopefully the okay attention. But, you know, they don't look like normal footwear. They look a little bit off as far as other people's perception and stuff. But as far as comfort and stuff, they are unbelievably comfortable. I can feel what I'm walking around on. If I am working and I have to go do something up on the roof, these are so comfortable, and I can feel my grip, and they're just awesome, right? So ever since then, I've been looking for shoes that have these qualities, and it's hard to find, right? You get a lot of shoes that are really stiff and, you know, just heavy, right? That's the other thing too. When you put these on, they're so light. They just feel really, really comfortable, right? But again, they're not practical as far as everyday shoe wear, right? Until I came across these shoes, which were by a big company. Look at that. Okay? These are called Aquasocks 360. So, these I found in Japan maybe about 5 years ago. But yeah, Nike makes them, and they're amazing. Look, they fold up pretty good. That's about as far as I can fold them. So they're a lot more stiff, you know, because these here, I can roll them up into nothing, right? So look at that. But these here, at least, have quite a bit more motion. You can see here that they don't have too much of a heel, so they're relatively good, right? They have lots of flexibility, and they're very, very comfortable. I put them on and they really grab my feet good. But again, winter shoe, not so much, right? I guess these are made for sort of outdoorsy people, maybe down at the beach. You can put these on and walk around, and like I guess you could even swim in them. They're pretty good. I use them for everyday walk around shoes, which I don't think they're made for, but they're really great. At least I found them really great. They come with an insole. But yeah, I wore them out. I liked them so much, and as you can see right there, they're totally worn right through. So now when I walk around outside for them, they're uncomfortable because it is like I'm walking around with socks on, and it hurts. So that was sort of my second one, and then I was just like, okay, good. Shoes do exist that feel like the Jikatabi. Unfortunately, I don't think they make them anymore. At least I've been looking for the last couple of years and I can't find them anywhere. So that really sucks. And if I do find them, they're usually like black or something boring. So that's a real shame. So I went on a quest again, and then I guess because I was looking for shoes in my social media, I had pop up a bunch of recommendations for these next shoes, which are really interesting. Here, one fell over here. And these are called, see if we can get the name here. These are called furushiki. Okay, so the wrapping sole, and that's kind of interesting. It's again related to Japan, which is always interesting to me. So I guess they used to also traditionally they would have this, you know, kind of napkin or cloth that you would wrap around. Say, for example, if you're going out and making a lunch, right? You would pack all your stuff inside, and then you would wrap it up, and you could make it into like a little handle on a carrying case, right? And they're just really practical. And so I guess somebody took that idea and made it into a shoe. So these are essentially a sole that wraps around your feet, right? So I'll kind of show you how they work. Pretend this is my foot though. But foot goes in there. One side wraps and attaches here. Other side goes around there. And there you go. It's on, right? So it feels really comfortable. So these are very, very, very comfortable. There are a couple flaws to it though that I want to share with you, but they are extremely comfortable. I did order these in a different color. I wanted them to be more like this as my socks color, because black just, well, first of all, it's kind of boring. But I didn't want it to look like socks, and so when I put these on and walk around, it looks like I forgot to put my shoes on. And so I get kind of like, you know, strange looks, people looking down going, oh, okay, they are shoes, I guess. So I found that was kind of interesting, but I'm sure if they were all differently colored and stuff, which are the ones that I did order, I wrote them an email saying, hey, good size, they feel comfortable, but you sent me the wrong color. And I guess they came from China, I think, and they just gave me, they gave me a little bit of a discount off them, which was kind of nice. But I did want the different color. But what I did find with these was the Velcro on them, after a while, starts to get old, especially on this side. It seems like, you see that? It's all kind of fraying away and falling off. So I would be wearing them, walking around, and they would just kind of slip off and fall off, and I'd have to reach down and, trying my best to keep them on, and they would fall off. So I ended up not wearing these anymore because they just kept falling off. But the soles are in great condition. They didn't even, get worn out too much, right? But they're really good. But again, not good for winter or rain or anything like that. You definitely get soaked feet in here. So I bought those a couple years ago, and then last year I became aware more of barefoot shoes, right? Natural footwear. And started to see these companies coming up and looking at them and going, wow, those are expensive. But wow, I really want to try them to see if there's a difference, because they look like normal shoes, right? But I just couldn't justify spending, that amount of money on shoes. So, I did just wear, kind of these kind of shoes for a while. But I really wanted to get myself into that. And then I did see a sale come up on some shoes. And so they're all the way over in Germany. But I was decided, you know what, I just got to try these. Because if they're good, then that's awesome, and I'm going to know what is good. And so then I ordered them and waited and waited. They didn't take too long, but they did take a bit of time. And these showed up. Not with this colored shoelaces. These are my own little addition to them. But they came and they were gray shoelaces. But these are them. And I've worn these shoes pretty much every day, except when it was snowing for a couple weeks, for the last year. And these are just awesome. You can see that they're worn out a tiny bit, but not that bad. So they still have a lot of life left in them. I can fold them up, right? They have so much movement, lots of toe movement. Like I put them on as it's like, wow, these feel just so great. And every time I put them on, they feel so great, right? And so the company, just for your information, is called Feel Grounds. I think, yeah, they're from Germany. And they're just awesome. Another thing too is the company seems to be environmentally conscious, which is also a bonus. This mesh is made out of plastic water bottles, so that's kind of cool. They recycle them. But yeah, really, really good. And I guess my feet, through the very first tabby that I found, all the way up to these shoes now, when I just put them on, my feet and my muscles and everything were already adjusted, so I could just start wearing them all the time, right? But I would imagine if I went straight from like a normal shoe that has lots of cushioning and support and stuff like that, right down into kind of this minimalist shoe, my feet might be a little bit grumpy at me because my muscles hadn't had time to develop and get strong. But because I had been wearing these forever, and then I switched to these, my muscles in my feet were already adapted to that. And an interesting thing as well is I was starting to get some knee pain a couple of years ago, and I started to notice that when I would wear normal shoes, I would get sort of that knee pain coming back. And then I would switch to, back to these shoes, and the knee pain would go away again. I don't know if it was just in my brain, but I don't have knee pain anymore. And maybe it's just an injury that's gone away, but I just have really noticed that there's a difference between wearing normal shoes and wearing these more like, natural footwear. So anyway, I just wanted to share this little video with you, just so if you're not aware of these shoes or the style of shoes, that, just food for thought, right? I don't know if I have any recommendations as far as companies, because I've only tried this company, and in fact I bought a new pair because they did go on sale during Black Friday sale. And so anyway, they came in this really nice box. They have such a cool logo too. Look at that, pretty cool. But I ended up getting these ones, which I haven't worn yet. But same idea, same as these, right? Except you can see that the shoelaces actually match this, which they did until I put those on. But these are kind of cool, and so I'm excited to start wearing these as well, because now I have a different option, because I do like more colorful shoes. But yeah, so if you see those shoes go on sale, you know, go for it. And again, just do some searches on, you know, natural footwear or barefoot shoes, and you'll start seeing that lots of companies make them. They tend to be a bit more on the pricey side, and it's probably because they just don't have the advertising budget and also the volume, the pure volume of sales that, you know, these huge brands have, right? But yeah, I really hope that some of these big name brands come out with some shoes. I have seen a couple of the big name brands come out with, like, well, this is, right, kind of more of a natural shoe. But yeah, it's just, for some reason they want us to walk around on ramps all day and, you know, be in these really cushiony shoes, right? But these ones, I just love them. I can feel every texture that I'm walking around on. I can tell when I switch, you know, from little pebbles, gravel to you know, pavement, whereas these ones, you know, I can maybe tell if I switch from grass to cement. But in these ones, I can tell what kind of cement texture there is, right? As far as, like, you know, I'm walking around a running path and I switch over to a sidewalk, it's like, oh yeah, I can feel the difference. So my balance and also my perception and stuff of what's on the ground has totally gotten way better, because you can't feel anything through these, right? You can't sense what you're walking on. So you just kind of just slam your feet into the ground and sort of try and get from point A to point B. Whereas these, it's more of like a, you know, an experience of just walking around and feeling the ground, right? So it's really a different experience. I have noticed that I've had to switch the way that I walk. With these, I don't have to think about the way that I walk. I just slam my heel into the ground and go for it. Where these, I have to be a bit more conscious of what's happening, because my feet don't let me slam my feet into my heels into the ground anymore, right? I have to walk a little bit different way. And I think by doing that, I've noticed it's helped my posture a bit too. So anyway, those might just be my own little thoughts because I like the shoes so much. Just wanted to make this video to let you, if you're not aware of these types of shoes, just for your information, and wanted to share my experience with them, because it's not like I just threw them on and was like, oh yeah, they're awesome after a month. I've been using these types of shoes for years and years now, like almost, like I said, almost 20 years, right? So I really like them. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. There you go. Natural footwear. Go check it out if you're interested. Thanks for watching. Adam Thomas from Balancing Touch Reflexology. Remember to keep your feet happy. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for watching today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and feel free to share it with anybody that you think might be interested in it. If you're interested in reflexology, this might be a channel to subscribe to. If you haven't already, hit, or better yet, step on that bell icon, and then you'll be notified when the next video is coming out. If you're looking for a reflexology chart, head on over to balancingtouch.ca. We have created a bunch of visually exciting, easy to understand reflexology charts for you. And if you have some more time, check out some other videos. Till next time, this is Adam Thomas from balancingtouch.ca. See you later.